to do. Is this on?
What am I doing?
In the criminal justice system,
Yep, this is-
the people,
Pimps, addicts, thieves, bums, winos, girls who can't keep an address, and men who don't care.
are represented by two separate yet equally important groups.
A cop, a flatfoot, a bull, a dick, John Law. You're the fuzz, the heat, you're poison, you're trouble, you're bad news.
These are their stories.
I think I'm supposed to see a graphic there, but I didn't really warn you. So in the future, we'll have the graphic for you. But we have to get our graphics ninja, who's in the North Bay, to make us up a temporary Law and Disorder graphic, because our graphics package has to be married to that audio, because we got flagged for the last audio. Again, I love to tell you guys a little bit of all the little problems we have to do. So that's it. But I wanted to let you know about something that was bizarre to me. A guy, you might have had this story, Kim, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating it, but the guy who was sitting inside his car in Oakland and had it broken into while he was inside the car.
I saw the story. I haven't done it here on the show yet. But
Okay, cool,
wow.
good. So a San Francisco dude said he had his car broken into while he was sitting inside the car in Oakland. Oakland cops are investigating this. Yeah. Tyson Wretch was parked in a parking lot on 98th Avenue between Airport Access Road and Empire Road. This is where you always park in Oakland if you're picking somebody up at the airport, or if you're like way early for a flight or something. This is exactly where you always end up. So he was parked in a parking lot on 98th Avenue between Airport Access and Empire. Oh, here he was, killing time before picking up a friend at the airport. Yep. All right. In a security camera video, someone gets out of a light-colored SUV, looks inside the car, drives away, but then backs up. They decide to come back. They crawl down below the back of the car, reach up above the license plate, and hit the button that pops the trunk. The person grabbed something out of the trunk, jumped back in the SUV, and drove away. The dude says he heard the trunk open and assumed he had accidentally hit the button himself. Inside the bag that was taken was laptop, medication, clothing, and passport. So of all the bags you could take, that guy took the right one. They came back and smashed my back window to try to steal something. I didn't see that when I first read the story.
That's the second day. They come back a day later because he has to park there because he's going to a meeting. So he parks in the same lot. They come back, they smash his window and break into his car again.
Wow. It was the next day? That's great. I love that. There was nothing inside the car the next day when they smashed. But that, to me, is one of the more bizarre stories of the Sam Bankman-Fried thing. His parents used their house to bail out Sam from prison. The only problem is they rent their house. So
wait, can you do that?
No, you cannot do that.
What?
Oh.
Yeah. Shortly before Christmas, FTX founder Samuel Bankman-Fried, indicted on federal charges of fraud and money laundering, was released on a $250 million bail bond that was secured by his parents' Palo Alto area home.
Wait, how much was the bail bond?
$250 million. So wow. You're right that there's the implication is in your reaction. Well, the home can't be worth that much. You're right. I think
it's a portion. It's a percentage of.
It's a percentage. Exactly.
$250 million bond.
Yeah, it's 20. It was 25 times bigger than Bernie Madoff's bail bond, and he was also Bankman-Fried isn't an alleged thing. Bernie Madoff, of course, the biggest Ponzi scheme in history. What hasn't drawn notice is the fact that Joseph Bankman and Barbara Fried are professors at Stanford Law School, are not typical homeowners. Their property that they used to bail out Sam is a faculty home provided by Stanford.
So they own the faculty home, but it's sitting on land that they rent from the university, because you can't buy university land. So you own the house, but you rent the land under it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a 3,000 square foot home. It's worth $3.5 million. 5 bedrooms. No word as to how many bathrooms.
But it is near the Whole Foods there in Palo Alto.
Were the Bankman and Freed pair ever to sell the house, or were the government to take possession of the house in the event of like a bail violation if Freed, skips? They'd have to sell it, and the pool of potential buyers would be limited to other eligible Stanford faculty, because it's not really a house that anybody can buy. It's on the Stanford campus. So Stanford will have to be involved in any sale. So that's to me, just a wild aspect to that Bankman-Fried thing. And finally, I was going to just tell you about the Half Moon Bay shooting detail that struck me. Apparently, there was a $100 repair bill that may have sent this guy over the edge. I mean, he sounds like he had pretty much stepped off the curb already. This guy, Zhao, 66-year-old. He said he became angry after being told by his supervisor at California Terra Garden, the site of the first attack, that he had to pay $100 to service a forklift that was damaged in a crash with a bulldozer. He told law enforcement that he became agitated, trying to explain that the crash was not his fault. He told cops that he then killed the supervisor and a colleague. This was the final straw, he said. The other victims were not involved in the dispute over the crash at all. This was about settling all those grievances. This is
I have to say, and there's never any excuse for hurting a coworker, let alone opening fire. But doesn't it seem like this farm is pretty stingy? I mean, first of all, there are allegations that they're paying less than minimum wage, which they dispute. Then there's the whole thing today where they're now saying, okay, well, we'll build some better housing for our people. Their workers were living in squalor, and that was only coming to light because of this mass shooting. And now we hear this man has to pay for an accident at work. And that seems to me like just part of doing business, where you insure your items at work and there's going to be incidents or wear and tear or what have you, but you don't charge workers for that. Am I wrong?
You're right and wrong.
Okay.
I think the reality is, if you can prove, I mean, in some cases, it really is the employee's fault. Maybe you give, one strike, it's okay, we'll pay for it this time, but don't let it happen again. And then the next time, if you're doing damage to property, let me just get rid of this bot.
Oh, I saw it too. Sorry.
If you're doing damage to property and it's your fault, there has to be oftentimes a way to make sure that that doesn't happen. But I'm with you. I mean, you'd think that you'd get some grace period, or, you'd be allowed so many violations before they actually charge you for it. If it was $100 worth of damage, really, you're going to charge the employee? Now, on the other hand, if this guy is like not the best employee in the world and he's having accidents all the time, I understand. Sounds to me like there might have been a little bit of a grudge working there. He was a tough wrong with, and there might have been a little bit of that as well.
I just think
Dirty Harry tore up all of North Beach in one of those Dirty Harry movies, and all they did was tell him to, Callahan, take the rest of the afternoon and go think about what you did. I mean, there was, they didn't even ask him to do any paperwork on it.
When Station X was a legit news operation, and I was in the KGO news car rolling around San Francisco and the entire Bay Area covering stories, if I had been in an accident, the station would have taken care of that. There was insurance on all those news cars to handle that. And so I guess that's what I equate it to is, I mean, when you have to drive a piece of machinery or a car for work, that work pays for the gas, work pays for the insurance. They shouldn't be coming to you with their handout.
He killed the coworker that caused the accident and wasn't willing to pay the $100. Then he killed the supervisor that wanted the $100 for repair. No. I mean, it's how these, by the way, these situations probably are covered by insurance in one way or another.
Yeah.
Point is, it was a $100 dispute, It was part of probably a collection of petty arguments like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing about that job climate that you'd want. Nothing. Okay. So when we talk about the wage is just one way that you're being insulted on a daily basis. But to open fire on a community that also has to swim around in that kind of work environment, it just compounds the tragedy, I think. That is Law and Disorder for today.
Tune in again next time for more Law and Disorder on The Mark Thompson Show.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out there.
Huge in Japan says $100 seems like an awfully small amount to fix some damage. And by the way, the $100 might have been the deductible. I mean, the rest might have been paid. Other damage might have been paid by the insurance. Don't know. But maybe Calvin Wong knows. He knows he knows a lot. He's our unofficial associate producer. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.